So welcome to another edition of Peculiar Stars Talk Show. And with me here is Afolakemi, and today we'll be talking about how important is the applause of human beings. So I'm going to be starting with what applause actually means. For some people, applause is just maybe a standing ovation kind of thing or clapping for someone. But I think there's a lot deeper to what applause actually means. I think it's appreciating someone, showing someone how good they are, and a way of motivating someone to do better. So I would like to ask a question. If you've ever been in a situation where you did something really good and then you got applauded for doing something good, like how did you feel about that?
Well, I would say in general, I actually felt good because obviously when you do something good and you receive the same feedback as regards, I just felt good. I think a better example is there was a time I did a poetry at a church program, and there were so many people there. I was actually scared. Like I was encouraged to actually go do that poetry, and that was like years ago. And I didn't want to. That would actually be the first time I actually stood in front of a crowd to say something. And you can imagine poetry, I was just the only one, and I just stood there with the mic and everything. And yeah, I did it. And honestly, you know, when you just do something, like you're just doing it, you're opening your eyes, you're looking at the crowd, but you're not looking at anybody in particular. Honestly, I can remember that feeling. I wasn't looking at anybody in particular. I just did it and I left, and everybody clapped and everything. And in my mind, I was like, okay, was it that good? And today, when I think about that moment, I just wished that I had a video recording or something, because I feel like it's, you know, like when you doubt yourself and somehow you got, in as much as you put the work and everything, but you're still scared, you're nervous and all that, but then you got that applause, like everybody was clapping and everything. So I felt like I was still saying I was going to mess it, but it's been a long time, so I'm not sure if they're going to have people we were using phones then, but it didn't really occur like 10, 12 years ago or even more. So it didn't occur, like it wasn't now that everybody just records everything, you know. But I don't think that it didn't occur to me like record it or whatever, like, you know. But like now that everybody records it, so I don't even have a record of that event, you know. But I know there was a general recording, like the church actually did a recording like on CD, but I'm not sure if they even kept it. Yeah, but yeah, that was one time I was nervous, but I felt good. I think it encouraged me, like, oh, okay. And everybody was like, oh, you did that. And my friends in church obviously came back and like, oh, that was good. I was like, really? As in, I didn't even after the event, I just felt maybe they're just being nice. Like it was good. But at the end of the day, I felt like it was good. Like some people were touched, and I also received some funny feedbacks, you know, that kind of a thing. You know, like poetry that's sometimes, you know, poetry can be funny. Like it was a poetry that I spoke about. I think it was Easter poetry. It was Easter. I did one during Easter, another one during another program, but the Easter one was really cool. Like it was more like trying to imagine how we would replicate what Jesus did for us by dying on the cross. And you know how they do spoken word now. I don't know if you've heard spoken word where people just talk. That was exactly something like what I did. So it wasn't like, it was more like a spoken word. Like I was just speaking about a relationship, and then somehow it correlates with how Jesus died for us and everything. And it was really cool. And I thank God I did that, because I can look back and say yes. And the applause encouraged me, because after that I did another one. And then I think I did 3 different ones, and after that. And honestly, then I think I left Nigeria, and after that I've not done anything. But yeah, I felt good. And yeah, I would just say I felt really good. But that was a good example. Yeah. You're making me think back right now, but yeah, that was a good example. Yeah, that was a good example.
Sometimes I hear this thing like they'll be like, when you applaud someone, it gets to them too much that they start drifting away from what they are doing, in the sense that I don't they start feeling maybe proud or something, or sometimes they just end up doing the wrong thing. Like, they leave what they're actually meant to do and then start doing the wrong thing. It could be consciously and then it could be unconsciously. Like, it's something I've experienced
Oh,
before.
personally,
Like,
have you
this
experienced
one
it
was
personally?
just, yeah, I have.
Oh,
It
really?
was this singing thing,
Okay.
and then
You
we're
like to
just meant to
sing?
pick a song and sing. So it got to my turn now. I started singing. At first, I was tense, but then when people started clapping and everything, it was getting to me that I didn't even realize I was singing off key. Like, after it, it just got to me so much. Like, oh, I was feeling myself like, oh yes, I'm singing. People are clapping.
Mm-hmm.
They are enjoying myself. But for me, I was still singing normally. But what they were hearing wasn't nice again. I don't know if it makes
I think
sense,
I
but
get,
it
yeah,
was
you make sense. I think you probably distracted you.
yeah. I feel applauding someone could distract them sometimes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it has its benefits, at the same time there are consequences for it, if that makes sense.
I wouldn't say that there are consequences. I would say that you have to understand the kind of person you are. So yours was a singing situation or an event. Again, I would say that it boils down to the kind of person you are when it comes to personalities and all that. Some people handle applause very well, just the same way you would say that some people handle fame very well. Like some people, when they come into limelight, like they're popular and everything, somehow they not necessarily make it get into their head, but there is some people don't handle that celebrity status or that fame, or like so many people know them. Some people don't handle it very well. And it's more of like a personal issue. And I would say that even when it comes to applause, it's not like to a large extent, I think that for me, how I deal with it is I understand that the applause of men is not reliable. So the same person that is clapping for you right now and saying that, oh, Debola, you're doing something good, could turn to you tomorrow and say, what is wrong with Debola self? Like, is it because she
Yeah.
can sing? That kind of a thing. And forget that he or she's the same person that was encouraging you. And applause can also be deceitful. People can applaud you for different reasons, not known to you, because you just see people physically. So you just did something and you're sharing with your friends and they're like, oh, well done, but you really don't know how they feel deep inside. So applause you can just accept it on just on the physical look, like whatever they're telling you, that's what you see. Fine, it can encourage you, but don't let it get to you. Don't let it affect whatever you do. Just know that, okay, fine. And most times, watch out for, as much as they applaud you, still ask questions. That's what I say. Like, still ask questions that, oh, what can I do better? Oh yes, are you sure I didn't make I do that. Even when somebody says, oh yeah, I didn't make that, I will say, are you sure I didn't make a mistake? Are you sure that it's that good? That kind of a thing. Sometimes you might come across as somebody doesn't accept or accept what do they call it now? Accept her plus or accept good or something like that. But then you should always ask for critics as well, even from people that applaud you, that, oh yeah, okay, yes, I know that you said it's very good, but what else? Are you sure I did that intro very well? Even if they say everything is perfect, put words in their mouth. Are you sure I did that intro very well? And you'll be
Yeah.
sure, that intro, yes, you were trying to you made a mistake. They will now start telling you, okay, yes, you made a mistake, but you did it very well. Then you now start asking. That's where you will know that you need to improve. Because sometimes some people wouldn't want to tell you anything negative. Not because they mean you bad as well, but maybe they just don't want to discourage you as well, or they don't want
Yeah.
it to be like, so they will just say, oh, you did well, you did well, you did well.
Yeah.
But then, so always know that there is, and no matter how perfect something is, honestly, no matter how perfect something is, I believe that there's always something to change. There's
Yeah.
always something to change. So don't always rely on the applause of men. It can encourage you, take it, but it's not reliable. And yeah, let me just put it that way. It's not reliable. It's not something that you can rely on. People can, and also it's subjective. You don't know why they're applauding you. They might just be applauding you because of the outfit you wore on that day.
Or because
Some
or
people might not
because
even hear what you said. If it's singing, some people might not even listen to you. They're just looking at you and say, Adebola is beautiful. And the guy is just smiling and clapping.
yeah, and they start applauding.
And that kind of a thing. Have you been at events whereby even before the person starts doing anything, they're already clapping? Like the person has not done
Yeah,
anything
and
and
that one
everybody's
is
clapping. So yeah, so
just because
people.
maybe because they just know the person or they've
Mhm.
heard the person's name somewhere, so they just
So yeah,
they just
so
start
yeah, so applaud is subjective, and different factors can be responsible for people's applause, not known to you, and then it is also not reliable because people can change. So yeah, just know you and know that you need to improve. And in as much as people applaud, always ask for critics.
yeah. But then is it, let's say for example now, you know someone and then the person has been, at times it could be difficult to tell someone the truth when you know
Mm-hmm.
how much effort they put into a particular thing. And then
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to discourage them, you don't want to make them feel bad. But then at the same time, you don't want to hide the fact that what they are doing is actually not so good and there are other things they could do to make you feel better. So in that kind of situation, how would you go about telling the person? The person has been working on this particular thing for years now,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's finally time to maybe showcase the thing, and then it's still not as good as it should be, if that makes sense. I don't know
Yeah.
if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're
Yeah.
trying to say.
How
So
how would you how would you explain, like tell the person in a way they don't feel bad and they don't feel this particular doing?
I think that the best way this you improvise and they call it yes hand. So you would say, one, the first question I would ask is, if the person is your friend, I would think that through the process, you have been there. So you should have actually be adding your own input as well. Say, no, do it this way. I think this is better. Have you seen this person's own? I think you should borrow some ideas or consult this person. So that means that to a large extent, or to an extent, you have been adding your own input, except if it's someone that you're not very close to. But if the person is your friend, you must have been adding your own input before it finally gets to the final stage of launching. So now, for you not to add your inputs, I should ask you, what kind of friend are you in the first place? You should have been adding your input before the person is launching. So let's say, for example, the person is not your friend, and okay, let's pick this. The person is actually your friend, but for some weird reason, you didn't get to have your input. And now it's finally launching and somehow you got to know about it and you were like, this is not that good. Like, oh, I would think that what I would do is, wow, that's a very beautiful product, or that's a very good something. But I think that it needs some tweaking here and there, kind of thing. Or if it's something that you can help with, can I help you just add one or two things and then you just check before you finally launch, kind of a thing. And I think I can add one or two things that will make it great or make it really nice. So you won't make it look like a defect. You just like, it's something that I want to add to make it feel better, to make it better and that kind of a thing. I'm very sure the person like, oh, why not? That kind of a thing. And then maybe allow you, or maybe it's an advice, or it's a suggestion, or if it's a consultant you want the person to meet at the end of the day, why not? And then the person would, and that would before the launching, and that's okay. Depending on who your friend is, I would believe that he's also he or she will be able to accept your idea and everything, and then and then it will go on well. So if it's somebody that is not your friend, I think the same thing. I would do the same thing, like, except I would do the same thing. I'll say, wow, this is a very nice idea. Da, 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 da. yeah, encourage the person, then I'll be like, but I think, so you would have phrased it, you do whatever you need to do, and then you now had the last bit and be like, I think that you should add one or two things there and it will just make this. And you give reasons, because yeah, sometimes people want to, as long as you're not trying to control the person or maybe take charge of the person's business. Or so I don't think it's a biggie. You just be like, oh, but I think that you should add one or two things there. And I'm like, oh yeah, oh I did, maybe the person didn't even think about it, or I'm like, oh yes, that's true. This one and that one, I didn't even think about it. Thank you so much. Or maybe it's something the person wanted to do but somehow forgot during the process. I'm like, yeah. Somebody reminded me the other day and I just forgot. And then that's helping a friend. And that's it. I think that, yeah, that is what I would do. And I believe it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to add this. I don't think applauding someone is just all about clapping for someone.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, when you applaud someone, like there's a lot to applauding someone, just like I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You're encouraging that person to do better. At the same time, you are helping them realize things they might have missed out in their course of work. You are letting them know that, okay, fine, you've done good, you've done well, but at the same time, there could be other things you could do to make this the best, or there could be other things you left out. So
Mm-hmm.
when we applaud someone, we don't just, clap for them and let them know, you've done very well, this is perfect. All those sweet, sweet things is you like make them see the need to do better,
Mm-hmm.
make them motivated to do better, let them understand where they are coming from, where they are, and where they still need to go. Is there any other thing you'd like to add?
I'll just say that what you've said is good. And I'll also say that apart from applause, another thing that people need to appreciate, or we need to appreciate, is even our critics. So your friend can easily applaud you and say, oh, it's all good. And your families or whoever, they might not even see your incompetencies. Let me put it that way in quotes. They might not see it. When you love somebody so much, everything is perfect. Like, you just like, no. Debola is cool. Debola is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with Debola. Even when Debola lies, you say Debola is saying the truth because you don't even believe that Debola would lie. That kind of thing. That kind of thing. But your critics, even sometimes the people will call maybe enemies or anything, they are the ones that will point out your flaws. And those flaws are there, but they'll be the ones to actually point it out, to say, Debola is beautiful, but Debola has forehead or something, and truly it is there. But then they will call your consciousness to it. And maybe that will mean that, okay, when you're making some kind of hair or something, you will take note of it and, present yourself in a better way so that it won't be so obvious. They are trying to maybe condemn you in quotes, maybe not make people appreciate you, but you will take those things, you will take those flaws that they have actually shown you, whether in your product or whatever, and you will turn it into strength, into something that you will use. When I mean strength, for example, let's say, for example, they say, oh, Falake's hair is not that long. Thank you for letting me know that my hair is not that long. For that reason, I might start buying product that will make my hair long, or I will start doing something that would help my hair long. Or maybe, Falake is not very good in so. And for that reason, I'm like, oh, thank you for actually calling my attention to it. And I realize that in as much as these so-called people who might not actually be my customers are noticing it, then my customers might actually notice it. So let me do something about it. So in that way, they are helping you really, because your beautiful customers that love you might not actually take note of it. They might not just be interested, but it might be something good at the end of the day that will actually help your business grow, or whatever you're doing grow, or help your personality and all that. So sometimes I think that we should also pay attention to our critics or people who fault us one way or the other. Maybe not let them at the same time, just the same way you don't want applause to get into your core, because obviously you have objectives and everything that you're working on, you want to be better and all that. Also, don't let your critics, don't let them get to you as well, but take whatever they have said and then use it to your benefit. That's just what I wanted to add. So in as much as they say whatever they want to say, all good. Oh, thank you. List them down. How can I be better at this? How can I do this better? And if it's the applause to, oh, thank you so much, be encouraged. I know that at least you're affecting some people's lives. And but then don't get distracted and start singing soprano instead of auto.
Okay.
Yeah, don't start singing soprano instead of auto. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I believe that my concluding remarks would just be that, yeah, we should not take applause to heart. Applause of human beings is subjective and not reliable. And also, I would say that also take note of your critics, people that fault you, so to say, and they're also helping you, but just take note of whatever they say and also use it to your advantage. Yeah.
Okay, so on this note, we would like to say thank you for joining us on this interesting topic, and we'll bring more and more exciting topics for everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow our channel and our Instagram and our Facebook pages. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.